Hello and welcome to another fantastic episode of Munster Hunters, the only show I guarantee that looks into the face of streaming networks and throws up the middle finger and then watches a 50-year-old sitcom about a Frankenstein monster and his grotesque family. I love saying that line. My name is Derek and I am a Munster Hunter. With me, as always, is Keith.
Hello. I'm Keith, and I am also a Munster Hunter.
And the other person in the room is the Dr. Dre of Kansas. His name is Terry.
Hello there. Yes, I am a Dr. Munster Hunter.
Dr. Munster Hunter.
Oh, PhD in Munster hunting.
Yep. Yeah.
Also,
Talk about
non-medical
worthless degrees. Finally, my degree's paying off. Oh, thank God.
All right. Today we are listening to, holy shit.
We're listening? Wow.
We're listening to smooth hits, contemporary
Sweet.
jazz here on the Munster Hunter, WKMH.
I like it. Let's do that. That sounds fun.
No. So season 1, episode 5, Pike's Pique. Pique spelled Pique. I guess we'll find out that the Pike's interests were piqued in this episode. But before we do, we have the time-honored tradition, the episodic staple, the episode staple. I have it memorized, Keith. The Munster Hunters Almanac Fact of the Week.
All right. Well, just bringing you guys a couple quick little things here. We've recently been going through the core cast. This time I kind of wanted to touch base on a few just quick things about Butch Patrick, who plays Eddie Munster. Real quick fact, in the original, the unaired 1964 pilot, he was not Eddie Munster. David Derman played him.
Oh, I thought he had a different name.
No, David Derman played him. Also, Bill Mummy, Mummy, he was offered the role of Eddie Munster. And if you guys are familiar with him,
hold on. I have a collection of Bill Mummy trading cards I can look at.
No, he was Will Robinson in Lost in Space.
Oh,
how about that?
And he is also he's also part of the band that does Fish Heads. The classic song Fish Heads.
What's the name of the
Fish
band?
Heads.
Oh, I forget what I forget the name of his band is. It's a Fish Heads, roly poly Fish Heads, eat 'em up, yum.
What?
Yeah.
The classic. That's
the classic song that
it was a big hit. It was a big hit in the 80s.
Okay.
And Bill Mummy was part of that?
Yes.
Hold on. Bill Mummy. Keep going, Keith.
All right. Yeah. So, like I said, originally it was in the unaired pilot. Nate Happy Derman was playing the Wolf Boy. And then Butch Patrick, he was picked over 500 different boys in March of 1964. He'd appear in all the episodes that broadcast over on CBS. By the time it ended his run, he was 13. And he was in a some other little trivia about him is that he went on to form a band called Eddie and the Munsters in 1983 and got a mild hit off the novelty song Whatever Happened to Eddie.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
MTV, I guess, even played the video for a little while. And this really isn't tied into the Munsters at all, but his stepfather was former pro baseball player Ken Hunt.
What team did Ken Hunt play for?
He played for the Yankees and the Washington Senators.
Wow.
That's cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bill Mummy. He was
Mhm.
part of the band. Ready for this name?
Mhm.
Barnes and Barnes.
Yeah. There we go.
Is it like two different spellings of Barnes?
Nope. Same spelling. Barnes. It's a very noble name.
It
Fish Heads was released in a year. I don't think it matters. No one cares.
No, but that was his big thing. He also says that his acting mentors were Yvonne DiCarlo, played Lily, and Charles Nelson Riley.
I love Charles Nelson Riley.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorites from the Match Game.
So those are just a couple quick facts. I'm sure as we continue on with our hunt, I will have some more details about Mr. Patrick and also Eddie. But that's good for today's Monster Hunter Almanac Factoids of the Week.
Boy, we added an extra syllable on there.
Facts of the week.
Factoids of the week.
Yeah.
The Monster Hunters Almanac Factoid of the Week.
Yeah.
And it focuses on Eddie, who is prominent in this episode to some extent. He does stuff.
More so than usual. Yeah.
And by the way, when in not getting or not taking the role of Eddie in 1964, Lost in Space aired in 1965, where Bill Mummy played Will Robinson. So he ended up getting in a more iconic role for himself, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know any other role that he's in, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. But it's Bill. Well, when we do a spinoff, the Bill Mummy podcast.
Mummy Hunters?
Mummy Hunters, yeah.
That's not bad.
The fact that a guy whose last name Mummy didn't get cast in the Munsters.
Well, that's because they were trying to cast him as a wolf boy and not a mummy.
Well, I mean, for as much as Eddie brings to the table, he could have been anything.
Well, here's the other. So here's my other quick question. Then, so if he is Herman and Lily's son, Herman is a Frankenstein, Lily is a vampire. How did they get a wolf boy as a son?
I don't know. You're asking, how's the sausage getting made? And there's lots of stuff that keeps happening in these episodes that make no sense.
Herman's hair does get long at points. Maybe he's got a little bit of werewolf. I don't know.
Yeah. Those hands, the very wolfmanish hands. Yeah.
Or maybe it's like he skips a generation. That could be.
All right. Well, we've got the boat out into international waters. Time to put on the gear and
we got a boat
back
now?
in. What?
We got a boat?
Yeah, the Monster Hunter boat. That's
yeah. You haven't been on it yet? Me and Derek have been cruising all around on this thing.
All over the Gulf.
I'm sorry. I was still sleeping in the back of our the Winnebago that we normally ride around in.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The Winnebago is one of those amphibious vehicles that transforms into a boat.
Ooh, we have a duck Winnebago.
A Duckabago, yes.
Yeah, Duckabago. I like Duckabago, but
the Duckabago. We're in the Duckabago. We're geared up. We're diving in for the Monster Hunter deep dive. We got our skooma on.
Like you said, we're talking about Pike's Peak. It's written by, you might have guessed, Norm Liebman and Ed Haas. You may have heard of these people. We have mentioned them a few times now.
I think every episode.
Yes. Big contributors to the Munsters, blah, blah, blah. Credited for, on every episode as being developed by them both. Today I was looking through Norm Liebman's working credits, and I saw he was credited with something called Skatebirds. Have you guys heard of Skatebirds?
No, but I'm very, my interest is piqued.
Yeah.
Okay. So he credited himself under a different name. He went under the name Norman Cameron. So I thought that was interesting.
Two first name round.
Yeah. So basically it's a live action show from 1977 to 1978. These people are all dressed up in like bird mascot costumes. The comparison I kept seeing was the Banana Splits, think that, but with like big old birds instead.
On skates.
Yeah, and they just skated around everywhere. It looked like it was some sort of like segment show, like it was only a few minutes long, and it was like packaged with like other cartoons and stuff. But The description on IMDb was the skatebirds mostly revolved around the nasty scat cat, perpetually chasing the roller skating trio and trying to get the best of them.
MC Scat Cat?
Before he got the MC title, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Yeah, before Paul Abdul discovered him, he's just scat cat.
He's going around chasing the skatebirds. But I found a clip on YouTube and it's pretty weird. They had like these big old googly eyes.
Don't say.
Yeah, they're skating around, so their eyes are just like bouncing around everywhere.
Now, Terry, if you said I found a clip on YouTube and surprisingly normal, I bet that's what would have got me.
Yeah, it was actually surprisingly amazing. But no, one of the birds is a big pelican, and the others were like reaching into his gullet and like pulling out their mail and like trumpets and playing trumpet. It was weird.
Boy, this sounds vaguely familiar now that you say those things.
Because like it's mail time, and then like the pelican like opens up his big old gullet that covers his entire body, and the birds start reaching in there and grabbing their mail.
Oh, that doesn't sound familiar.
It was a little bizarre, but
yeah,
I found that kind of interesting. But the episode was directed by Seymour Burns. His directing credits go from 1954 to 1975. He's got 25 credits total. He mostly just did TV and television specials as well. But he directed 209 episodes of the Red Skeleton Hour.
Well, that's where this comes up again. Red Skeleton Hour.
A few episodes ago, Derek explained to me that Red Skeleton was actually a comedian and not an actual skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was glad I could clear that up for you.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't realize that Red Skeleton had so many episodes. He was a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
He also directed a TV movie called Clown Alley.
I like the sound of that. Well,
they don't even give you a plot for it, but it has Red Skeleton in it.
Okay, real quick. We got a few minutes. Let's all think of a plot for Clown Alley. My plot is hardened detective Frank Grizzle turns the corner and finds an alley full of dead clowns. Oh, he's got 24 hours to solve the crime. Can he do it?
No. I was thinking that he finds a murdered person, but in the way that he goes about it, he ends up having to go to Clown Alley, which is the place where all the clowns just hang out, and it's like notorious clown bars and stuff like that.
So he has to like go undercover, and he goes to clown college to learn how to be a clown, and then he becomes a clown. Nice.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking like, this kind of like weird abstract alleyway that was like actually like the mouth of a giant clown that people didn't realize, and as they walked in, they were consumed by laughter and fun.
Oh, and not a clown at all. It wasn't a giant space clown eating people. It was
yeah, it was.
I'll be honest, I think all three of those things we could easily combine into the actual movie Clown Alley.
Yeah, that could be the twist.
Possibly,
yeah. Oh yeah, guest stars. There's guest stars on this as well.
What?
Yeah. There's Richard Deacon as Borden T. Pike, hence the episode name, Pike's Pique. Pat Harrington as Sonny Harkness. I believe that was like Borden D. Pike's assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jane Withers as Mrs. Fanny Pike.
Fanny Pike.
Yes.
Not Fanny Pack, Fanny Pike.
Yep. Not to get confused. Richard Deacon, he has 180 active credit or acting credits. He's not active.
They're all
anymore.
still ongoing.
They're going from 1953 to 1984. He was also on the Red Skeleton Hour for 6 episodes, but as a different character each time. One thing that stood out to me was this movie that he was in called The Hoboken Chicken Emergency in 1984.
That seems to be one of the last things that he did.
Yeah,
they killed him.
It's a weird movie as well, surprisingly. Here's the IMDb summary is Arthur is asked to pick up a bird for Thanksgiving dinner, and he brings home a 266-pound chicken named Henrietta. The family welcomes her with open arms, and the neighbors are not so sure. Then Henrietta escapes. ...
Oh, and that's when it gets real crazy.
Yeah.
I watched a clip on YouTube of this, and yeah, it is literally just like a guy in a giant chicken outfit walking.
Oh, it's a guy in a
streets.
chicken outfit.
Yeah,
yeah. He eventually takes on Godzilla, the guy in a chicken.
Does he?
I mean, no, that'd be great though.
Oh, I mean,
It's
anything
a
was
giant
possible.
chicken, and then all of a sudden you get another guy in another costume.
That's what I was kind of hoping happened.
He's like a man-sized chicken, like average, like adult height. He's walking around. People are locking their doors in fear. They're switching their open sign to closed. The streets are in terror. And yeah, Richard plays a city council member in that movie.
So people are afraid of what is ultimately an ostrich.
But think like much thicker, like just real.
I get that, but it's not like, why would you like close your business over a man in a chicken suit?
I think one of the lines in the clip I watched said like something that's 266 pounds gets awfully hungry.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's supposed to be a horror movie or not. I think it's just supposed to be like a fun, goofy thing. But the clip I saw, people were just in terror, and it was, I
mean, it was Hoboken.
Mm-hmm.
It was Hoboken, and it wasn't a chicken emergency.
I think the biggest thing he's probably known for overall, though, he is on 82 different episodes of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Love the Dick Van Dyke
Show. As Mel Cooley.
Yeah, he's Mel. Yeah, I thought I recognized him.
And he shows up on he is on like a ton of just all these ones that and he was on Mr. Ed for a while.
The famous Mr. Ed.
Leave It to Beaver. He was on there for 23 episodes. Yeah, I mean, he's in a lot of stuff that everyone is things people are very, very familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I usually just like to focus on the weird thing I find, but he actually was kind of a I don't know, big deal, but he was around. He did some cool stuff besides the Hoboken chicken emergency.
Being Mel on the Dick Van Dyke Show is probably about the equivalent of being, let me think. What's a TV show? I can't
The Office. The Office.
The Office. That's about the equivalent of being Stanley, I think.
Okay.
That's pretty good then. Yeah, everybody loves Stanley.
Yeah, you know who he is, and he's in episodes, and you're like, oh, okay.
He doesn't ever get. He doesn't ever get like. He doesn't get to ever get even like the B or the C storyline. But he's gonna give you like one line usually every episode.
Yeah, he's the boss. He's the boss, and Dick Van Dyke's boss.
Also, when you say, what's a TV show? And the fact that neither Terry or I chimed in with the Munsters is a little bit of a problem, I think.
Well, I wouldn't have been able to find an analog in the Munsters. Right? No. Say, he's about the equivalent of BT, which is the character he played.
Borden. How? That's not a normal name either.
No, it's the name of milk.
It's a weird. It is, yes.
Yeah.
Do they ever say what the T is for in this episode? I don't think so.
No, it's just his middle initial.
Yeah.
It's a mystery. I'm sure they'll follow up in the future episodes.
I'm sure there'll be another episode.
Mm-hmm.
But real quick, Pat Harrington, he has 166 acting credits. He was acting from 1948 to 2016. He was actually in another Munster episode that's coming out eventually that we will be seeing. Not coming out, coming up. It's not like it's a new release, but he'll be playing a different character in that.
Long lost Munster show.
He did some voice acting in some Scooby-Doo movies, but it was that series where they had the guest star. Like sometimes it was the
best ones.
What they call them, Will Troublers or Batman.
Yep.
It was that one. He was credited for like additional voices for most of those. So he must have just played like a lot of the background characters. He was also credited 38 times on Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels. I've heard of this. Have you guys ever seen?
I have watched. He's listed as additional voices.
Yep.
I've watched one episode of that. I did watch it. And it is. I mean, it's basically. It's Scooby-Doo, but with Captain Caveman and a band called the Teen Angels.
Yeah, seems kind of cool.
Derek, you probably recognize mostly as Schneider from One Day at a Time.
Mm-hmm. I didn't recognize him as that. Who is this guy? The sidekick? The
Pat Harrington. He's like the guy sitting at the desk with
he was Schneider? I didn't recognize him.
Yeah. 206 episodes of One Day at a Time.
Yeah, it was on for a while. Almost 10 years.
And last but not least, Jane Withers, 72 credits going from 1932 to 2002. And she actually seemed like she was maybe a big name, at least like in the 30s and 40s. She was a star of a bunch of movies back then. And I think she started out as a child actor actually in the 30s. And she was the voice in a Disney movie for The Hunchback of Notre Dame. At least at first it was the additional voices of Laverne, which is one of those gargoyles. But I guess later, like for the sequel, she just voiced Laverne herself. And for like anything else, like the video games and stuff like that, she ended up doing the main voice for Laverne.
She just died just last year at age 95.
Dang.
Wow.
She was born in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
The IMDb credit, when you go to talk to, like, the fact she was a child actress, it says, during the early times of the Depression, when life was more famine than feast, child stars became the blue plate special of the day, served up by Hollywood to help nourish a nation besieged with troubles.
Wow.
Who wrote that?
That's beautiful.
That's the IMDb like bio intro.
Oh, okay. That is beautiful.
Yeah,
touching tale.
Well, that's all I got for fun facts.
Spit out your skooma mouthpiece because we're done skoomaing.
We're coming out. We're rising out of the depths. Make sure that you waited at the appropriate points.
Yes,
for the pressure to acclimate to the pressure.
Don't
and all
want
that.
the bends. Don't want them bends from that skooma. That'd be terrible. Munster bends, the worst kind of bends.
That's the worst kind. It is.
Yeah, undoubtedly. All right, and then so we're moving on. This is season 1, episode 5, Pike's Peak. The breakdown: a new pipeline must be installed underneath the Munsters' home, but Herman and Grandpa are having their doubts about it, which is only half true because Herman is not doubting it in one bit. This one gets a 7.5 on IMDb.
Pretty good.
That feels high. But we'll move on. Will this be the episode that the babysitter breaks? I'm feeling we should bring down the stakes of the babysitter breaking. So maybe
we should come up with some new ones. Yeah.
Think of something new we'll come up at the end with them. And we'll be like, because I'm going to spoil it. This is not the episode the babysitter breaks. So by the end of this episode, we can come up with some new ones. Because there's no way we're going to see full frontal bestiality or a threesome, right? It's just not happening, right?
That's it. Yeah. I'm 99% sure it won't happen.
I mean, there's 70 episodes, Derek. I mean, we've got plenty of time.
Never say never, but this was 1964.
Unless we get our hands on the lost tape.
Yeah.
If that's on the lost tape, then holy shit.
That's why the original pilot was unaired.
It's the Russians have compromat on the Munsters and they're holding on to that. Anyway, this episode opens up with Herman. He's on a slab. He's strapped to the slab and he's sleeping, napping, something there. Grandpa comes down and he is smoking a cigar. So therefore it must be after breakfast because he was told before not to smoke before breakfast. He calls for Igor, and who flies in, the friendly bat. And Grandpa says, hold this. And then he drops it, and he calls him Butterclaws. This part is just so...
Why does he need to hold the cigar?
Why does this even have to exist? Open up with Grandpa.
He says, can you hold this for a second? He hands it to him. Igor holds it for a second and drops it. I don't know why he's mad at him then.
Oh yeah, like a literal. He followed this literal 1 second thing. I'm mad because this part exists, right? We don't need to see Grandpa entering the room in any way whatsoever.
Yeah,
but there he is.
Very weird cold open. I thought.
Yeah, he calls him Butterclaws, and then Grandpa uprights Herman, and Herman wakes up. He's still strapped to the table, and he asks him if you feel any better. And Herman sounds stuffy. He's like, "My headache is gone, but my sinuses are killing me." And then says something about this draft down here isn't helping anything either. And then Grandpa says, well, how could there be a draft? He's laughing. We're 25 feet underground. There's no drafts.
Classic.
Which is true.
That is a good point. Yeah.
Where would the draft come from? But I guess we need to establish that they're 25 feet underground because we cut to the gas company. And here's where we meet Schneider and Mel. They're there. And Schneider says, the property in question is right here. It's the Munsters. And must be some kind of holdup. And then the bald guy, BT, Mel, he says, he really stumbles through his line here too. So this surprised me when you told me that he was like an actor. He's like, they must have had enough film for one take, and that's it. And he's like, I could do this shit. And he gets up there. Only got 60 feet to go for the 2 pipelines to connect, juncture wise, that is. And then there is canned laughter. I don't get it. Yeah. I don't understand what's funny. That's a joke. Anyway, he stumbles through that. Maybe they're laughing at his failure to say the line cleanly, which made me laugh.
Maybe it wasn't canned laughter. It was just the the guys, the film guys and the guys holding the mics and stuff like that. Yeah. The boom mic. They just started laughing at him messing up. I'm
like, what an idiot! He can't say 60 feet. And then so he sells to Harkness. He's gonna send somebody over there right away. And then he's like, well, I already sent Johnson. We haven't heard back. Get him on the phone. And this part maybe like, he's like, we tried, but the sanitarium. So they knew to call him at the sanitarium. They knew he committed himself. And he says there's no phones in the padded rooms. And then Mel goes, no, not Mel, but BT. That's what you get for hiring a neurotic. And then there's canned laughter for that. I'm like, oh my God.
I was like,
yep.
Yeah.
But this thing's got to be done. They got to get this 60-foot juncture in there, and it's got to be done on schedule. And so BT says, well, let's just put it under the house. They'll never know. About 25 feet should do it.
Yeah, and this is where I realized, this is connected to the cold open. That
25 feet. Okay. Just dig under the house. One, they'll never see us doing it. Right?
Yeah.
They won't know. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Yep.
Also, I need a further backstory on the corruption going on here.
This gas
instead of going to the mayor, city gas. And instead of going and trying to figure something out, he's just like, yeah, we're just going to dig under and they'll never know. We'll get around the whole thing. And it's like, wow, this is pretty shady stuff going on here.
And some kind of like Chinatown prequel here. This is bad stuff.
I foresee a lawsuit.
Yeah, definitely. There are several opportunities for lawsuits in this episode. We'll get there.
Yes.
So he's like, 25 feet should do it. And then what's their guy's name? Mortensen or whatever. He's like, well, this could be trouble. And then BT stands up and he goes, Borden T. Pike laughs at trouble. Like he has to say his name, like for whatever reason.
Yeah.
He won't be intimidated by the Munsters. Besides, what kind of trouble could be 25 feet underground? We've already seen what's 25 feet underground. It's a Frankenstein monster and his grotesque family. And then the banger kicks in. Still good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That second part should have been the cold open, and then they should have cut to like them busting through the wall or something.
Yes. Like so unnecessary. We got Herman's got a cold for whatever reason. He's strapped to a slab, 25 feet underground, all this stuff, whatever. We got the banger, and then we come back. The pipeline workers are out in front of their house, in front of the Munster house. So they were going to dig just right outside. Like, no one will notice us blocking the road in front of their house. Going in the sewer. No one will notice this.
But also, by the way, the sewer doesn't run directly under. It doesn't seem like they're going to like mess up the sewer. Sewer pipes.
And they're going underground and they're fucking shit up because they're going down there and they're going to dig 60 feet under the house. Right? Anyway, they go underground. They're going to the manhole. Cut back into Grandpa's dungeon. Herman's still sick and he wants more medicine. And Grandpa goes, so I'll go find something. Where did I put that? And then this part happened. And I was like, I wonder if this is like a thing, like the thing. Because a hand comes up out of a wash tub. Offering soap.
This was like, is this a ripoff? Like, what is this thing?
Or maybe they're making fun of the Addams family. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. This is the first we've seen this.
And then Grandpa's like, no. Besides, I told you to wait in the washing machine. So the washing machine and a wash tub? Man, they live a decadent lifestyle. These Munsters do.
And they do.
Yeah, the poor hand, it gets confused. It doesn't know where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and the hand's not drowning or some. I don't know. I don't know how it works. The Munsters are so weird.
They're just like a pair of lungs down there attached to that hand.
I don't know how it works. There's just a hand coming out, and it's not thing, right? This has never been established prior.
No.
Now, if it was the Invisible Man,
that
then
would
we'd
be
be
perfect.
like, okay, makes
I
sense.
would have loved that. Yeah.
So then we come back. Grandpa's got a turkey baster, and he's sucking shit out of Herman's nose. He's just like, it's making terrible noises.
Is he sucking stuff out, or is he dropping stuff in?
Oh, he could. Who knows? Keith, anything is possible in the world of
Well,
monsters.
so when he gets done with it, he then leans Herman back a bit, and you hear a bunch of stuff sloshing around again.
Yeah. I thought it was like, I'm going to suck shit out, then let's see if it's empty. Like, shake a bottle to see if there's anything left in it.
Okay.
That's kind of how I took it, but maybe not. So Grandpa's either sucking shit out or pushing shit into Herman's nose. And he tilts Herman's heads down toward the ground, and you hear the water slushing around. He tilts him back up, and then he tilts him upright. And then the pipeline workers come busting through the basement wall. So they were at a point where they're like, bricks. That's weird. And then they decided to go right through it.
Yeah.
Right?
The telltale sign that somebody built this and it's here. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe these are natural bricks. I don't know. Herman and Grandpa, they're scared. The workers, they're scared because they turn around and go the high speed run out of there, the sped up film.
We watched them run for a long time too.
Yes.
Really
and
long
outside,
time.
the workers, the one gets out and he's trying to pack up the truck as fast as possible. I'm going to get the fuck out. The other worker, like, where is he? He is so scared. He digs up through the ground instead of just following the path in which they'd followed, right? The sewer system. He digs up through the sewer roof, through the lawn of the Munsters, and he comes out of the Munster lawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's running and he jumps on the truck drives away, the dude falls off the truck and then outruns the truck.
I actually enjoyed that part when he like takes off. He just passes right by the truck anyway.
Yeah,
I'm like, why did you even bother jumping in the back? Just
yeah. Why are you even waiting for the truck at all? Just go, dude. You are clearly an Olympic speedster, so just do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, city gas man is probably not your best calling if you got that kind of speed.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah.
You not run a vehicle. You should be doing other stuff. So then we cut back to the gas company, and there he is. He's covered in dirt and shit, and he's out of breath, and he's like, So he ran from the Munsters all the way back to the gas company, did not stop, did not catch his breath, did not knock stuff off his head. And old BT, he ain't buying it, man. He is Borden T. Pike. He is not to be trifled with.
Right.
He says, scare tactics to drive up the price of something, like to drive up the price. Like the price of what? We don't know yet. Right? I'm not sure. And then he says he's doing this because he doesn't want to assume responsibility for breaking into the cellar.
Yeah.
So he's making up the story about a monster and a monster in a cellar 25 feet below the ground.
Also, which is it? Is it the Munsters are trying to are dressing up and portraying these monsters or to run up a price, or the other guy just doesn't want to accept responsibility? Which is it here, Borden?
I don't know. And there's lots of this. There's all sorts of wrinkles to this whole story that make no sense to me, and we'll get to that in a minute. so dude's still got shit on his head. He's still out of breath. And then Schneider, I can't remember what his name is, Mortensen or whatever. He's like, well, that's the way he tells it, right? And it's like, well, I don't believe that. So the guy ran all the way there, told the story, and he's still out of breath. So it's been a few minutes. He's still, and then he says, well, we didn't expect to find anything 25 feet underground, right? That was his thing. We didn't expect a cellar that deep. And he says, no, and BT's no excuses. Don't come back until you get a haircut. So BT, he's dumb too. He thinks the shit on his head, which is clearly grass and sod, is hair. Fair enough.
He's not like the doctor from the other episode that we covered where he didn't have his glasses on and couldn't see shit. Borden is actually wearing glasses, I do believe, in it at this time.
And he's 1.5 feet away. And you could probably smell the dirt and grass on him.
That guy stinks. You can tell. Yeah.
And how many employees are there in City Gas that he doesn't know that this guy doesn't have like a weird blonde mop of hair on top of everything on like a normal day?
Oh, you don't normally have sod on the top of your head? Weird.
And what did he want that guy to do? Just to keep digging despite the people being there looking at him?
I don't know.
Like,
I have no idea what he was expecting.
Look, the mayor is on his back about this. Terry.
Yeah.
He's got to get this done.
But dude's like, okay. And he turns around and leaves. And then BT, he didn't say the line. He should have said ingenuity, imagination, and intelligence do work. I'll handle this myself. So then we cut to what must be moments later. BT is on the phone. And he's calling his wife, Fanny, dear, saying he won't make it home for dinner because of the business engagement. And Fanny's pissed. She puts the dog under her arm. Right? She's cut the Fanny. And she's put the dog under her arm. She thinks she's having an affair. BT's having an affair. And then we come back to BT. It's like, well, yes, I did have lunch with a woman. My mother. I can't help it. My mother's a woman. And then he's like, all right, I'll talk to her about it. And then he
also says it could happen to anyone.
It could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
I'll talk to her about it. I'm sorry. So he puts the phone down, and then you hear like this very Flintstone-y, the chipmunk nagging on the other end of the phone.
Yep. He's just hollering, yes, dear.
Yes,
dear.
And then BT's pissed. He's like, I'll show these monsters that Borden T. Pike, he says his name again, won't be intimidated. And he leaves.
Doesn't hang up the phone.
Nope. Wife's
Just let her
still
air
talking.
out her
No.
It's like, I'm out of here.
I enjoyed this interaction, even though we only hear like the one side, but the whole thing with him being like, yeah, it's my mother. Yeah, no, it could happen to anyone. Anyone can have a mother. And I will talk to her about being my mother. Like,
yeah.
That's
and as we
pretty good.
find out later, they've been married for 30 flipping years. And why? So anyway,
yeah, it seems like a great relationship.
Yeah. So he goes to the Munsters' house and he's like, oh, this place is a fucking dump. There's a wolf howl. BT looks around. He decides to knock on the door. It's dusty old door knocker, but it looks cool. It's like a bear pig or something like that. I don't know. Lily answers the door, and then Spot is growling. Now you hear this, which you assume, oh, it's a dog. But Lily looks up, right, and shoos Spot away. Spotty, get away from the door, Spotty. And she calls for Eddie to come get Spotty. And Lily says, well, Spotty gets so excited for visitors. And I thought this was going to be something.
Nope.
Something with Spotty.
One more of those times. They do this once an episode to you, Derek.
But it's like they're dribbling down court, and the dude sees he's got somebody running. You know, he's like, so he alley-oops up there, and the guy's like, nah, I won't jump. I don't want an easy bucket, because this seems like an easy bucket.
Yeah, it does. That's a fun side plot right there.
Yeah. So anyway, she says, well, please come in. And BT, man, he is tough as nails. I'll come in, but remember, I'm not easily taken in.
What does that mean?
And he says that so proudly, too.
Yes. Like, he can't be duped, right? I'll come in, but you're not gonna fuck with my shit. I'm BT. I'm Borden T. Pike. God damn it. So BT comes in, sees all the cobwebs. We've established, much like the babysitter, that nothing can shake old BT.
Now he even smiles a bit when he sees it, like,
he's like, he's like, they're really laying it on thick, trying to get more money out of me. Like, I don't even know what we're talking about yet. And then he says his name fully again. I'm Borden T. Pike.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And then Herman is off screen and says, oh, Mr. Pike, come in. And he comes in and he introduces himself, and Borden T. Pike sees Herman. And it's like, what? And Herman says, I'm Herman Munster. And this is my father-in-law, the Count.
The Count is his name, I guess. Yeah.
And Grandpa's got a cigar again, and he's sitting in an electric chair.
He seems very casual. He seems like the friendliest. Well, they all seem friendly, but I like how Grandpa's just sitting there playing his game, like, whatever.
Herman, very polite. Please come in. Lily, please come in. Well, Borden's coming in kind of the aggressor. So Borden looks confused and shocked. He shakes Herman's hand, and Herman says, "Won't you have a seat?" And Herman reaches down and grabs the couch by the arm and then lifts the whole thing up like 4 feet off the ground. Like, what's he doing? Well, like why would you do this? Have a seat. What's he going to do? Take the couch from you?
Does he want him to sit up there like while he's holding it? That's a power play.
It's just a offering. He's offering him a seat. I don't know why he thinks he has to give him the whole seat, but he's offering it to him.
I don't know why he thinks he has to lift the couch up to like shoulder height. It just doesn't make any sense. So BT, he's still not taken in. Here's a Frankenstein monster. Here's the Count in an electric chair. Frankenstein lifts up a whole sofa. Doesn't matter. And then Eddie comes in as BT is talking, and BT is saying he's willing to compensate the Munsters for the damage and the inconvenience. And then he sees Eddie, and he's like, "Well, hello there." And he goes to pat him on the head, and he stops. I'm assuming because he saw the pointy ears.
I guess so, yeah.
Maybe his slick back hair was uncouth at the time. I don't know.
The fangs a little bit.
Yeah. He's like,
That was a weird. They just stare at each other for a second. Yeah. That was strange.
Just like, all right. So it's like, I'm going to give you $1,500 for the inconvenience and the damage. And then BT is distracted because Eddie is setting cheese on a giant fucking mouse trap that clearly was not visible prior to that moment. Right? Because you think you would have walked in and saw that giant mouse trap. That would have been distracting.
Well, isn't he? I thought he was distracted because he tries to lift up the couch himself and it goes it doesn't move at all.
Oh, well,
again, explaining how strong Herman apparently is.
But I think he's staring over at Eddie because then we see Eddie's putting cheese on this giant mouse trap.
I did like this. I wish they would have gone somewhere with it, but I like the idea of
yes, this was another thing that I guess it pays off a little bit further on, yeah. But also nobody says BT does not. He doesn't say, "Wow, is that electric chair?" He doesn't say, "Is that a giant mouse trap?" And not only that, the giant mouse hole that it easily looks like Eddie could walk through if he needed to.
Yeah. and the shit's like 5 feet away from him. He doesn't even flinch at it. Like he didn't notice it before until it's just like Eddie and the kid playing and Herman not seeing them and only seeing the robot monster.
Oh,
Frankenstein look like. All right, so what we got here? So BT says $1,500 is his final offer, and Grandpa's making a house of cards. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Lily says, "Oh, $1,500 will come in handy for a sunny day," which I assume BT is gonna be like, "Don't you mean a rainy day?" And it's like, no, now they just assume you know what they're doing, which is being stupid. Eddie wants to know how much $1,500 is in cheese, and Herman's like, "Don't play with that mouse trap. Now the mouse will never go near it." Boy, I guess I don't know. Herman thinks $1,500 is a good deal. And Grandpa says, "Nuh-uh." And then Grandpa makes a very good point. The idea of sneaking a gas main under our property.
Yes. Now, this is very logical. Like, what? Yeah, this is not good. Whatever they're trying to do.
That makes sense. I'm with Grandpa here. It makes sense. Yeah. Now, it also brought up the point to me that we've already established that they rent, right?
Yeah.
So it's not their decision to make, one. Two, they haven't always been there, right? So
that's true. Yeah,
that's why I think we had mentioned that maybe they moved when they moved there. The house appeared because they're renting from Satan. Yeah, and I'm going to go with that because it's 25 feet down the cellar, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, weird. And when they know that it's 20, I mean that's part of you gotta tell the city what you're doing when you build a house.
Yeah, I mean, there's some zoning, some permits. You gotta have to probably get to go 25 feet down. You got to call that 1-800 number to make sure. Was it Ask Julie? Yeah,
you can dig. So, Grandpa makes a great point, trying to sneak a gas main under the property, and then the cards fall over. Grandpa snaps his fingers. Then they go back up, and he goes, "Thank you," like talking to the cards, right? So BT sees that and he's like, okay. And then he says, I urge you to accept my offer. It will be good for your neighbors and friends. And then, so BT is like waving his hand underneath the table, trying to see if there's like wires or something to make that up. And Herman thinks they should take the offer because it will help the community. And Lily says, he's always been the level-headed one of the family. And then, Herman does like a, he's very pleased with himself because he has a flat head. Hell yeah, my head's flat.
It's the flattest head around.
Yeah, it's like so dumb. And then, so Grandpa wants no part of this. He's like, he doesn't want people digging on the premises. There's no telling who they'll come up with.
Yeah.
Right? Which goes back to they rent. And they haven't been there that long because the other neighbor, Mrs. Cribbins, who hates the Munsters, liked it better before they moved in. So,
maybe the Who is the owner that maybe they were originally renting from. Maybe. Yeah.
So Grandpa snaps his finger, and then, like the pancake in that one episode, another card flies to the top of the house. The card, house of cards. And then BT says, I urge you to take my offer. Again, he says urge again. He likes to say the same thing over and over again. He doesn't scare easy. And then he starts to walk out. And Herman says, wait, this is my house. And Herman's being very stern. And it's going to be my way. I agree with Lily.
Yeah. He puts his foot down. It's my place. I'm going to do this. And because my wife said it's a good idea.
Yeah. And then so Grandpa says, come here, Eddie. I want you to be witness to my degradation, which was like, Jesus, man. Because one day you'll have creatures of your own and you know what to expect.
I like how cranky Grandpa is getting about this.
He is like a curmudgeon in this one.
It's very funny to me. I don't know why, but
he's right. Like they tried to dig under his house. Anyway, so Grandpa walks over, shaking his head, and this is what you want. This is what you get. I'll be in my room. And he walks off and he says, good night. And smoke appears and he turns into a bat and then kind of flies away. It like more flies in a circle. And Lily's like, oh, Grandpa. And then Herman says, Mr. Pike, you'll have to excuse Grandpa. You know how old people are. But before he could finish saying that sentence, they turn and Pike's gone. The door slammed. Eddie off screen says, ow, as the mousetrap snaps. And Herman says, I told him to keep his big trap shut.
That's a weird line right there.
Yeah, there's lots of weird lines in this one.
Yeah. But again, like, so they mentioned that, but the trap is something that it would like, I hope it comes back again in a future episode.
It won't, because
like
the writers said, I want to say, keep your big trap shut. Wouldn't it be funny if you had a big mouse trap?
Yeah.
And that's how it happened.
Yep.
Can't tell somebody to shut up, but they get to have a big mouse trap. So then Herman and Lily are walking down the steps, and Herman's like, I don't care what Grandpa says. I'm going to call Mr. Pike and accept. And he needs to think of the neighbors. And Lily, oh, you have a good heart. And then Herman says, the best money can buy. Blah, 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 blah. But guess what? Did we know that Herman is a Frankenstein's monster yet? Because if we didn't, they got to bring in tell us.
I mean, there's 70 episodes. At some point in time, they run out of body parts to reference.
They got to just be like, well, people get it.
He's a Frankenstein's monster. I hope he just starts saying that. Well, I am a Frankenstein's monster after all.
Yeah. So Lily goes off to find Eddie. Oh, Eddie.
I hope that happens.
Yeah. We get it, Lily. I'm a Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
So Herman pulls a rope thingy and the phone coffin comes out of the wall. Very cool. Then we cut to BT. His phone is ringing. He answers the phone and it's Herman. He hears that it's Herman and he freaks out and he swallows a pill real fast. I don't know what that pill is, but he's like, I can't talk to Herman without taking this pill. So Herman offers to come over and grab the check and BT freaks the fuck out. He's like, no, stay where you're at. I'll have my secretary mail you a check. Do not come over. Fanny hears this and assumes he's talking to a woman. Who is that? One of your girlfriends? Yeah. And then Pike then thinks it would be a good idea for Herman to come over. And he's like, whoa. Herman, yes, please come over. I want you to meet my wife, because Pike wants to
sort of like be
torture
scared to death.
Yep.
Yeah. And Herman's only a headstone's throw away.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's what Herman says next. Oh yeah, I'll be on my way. That's just a headstone's throw from here. He puts the phone away. Lily's putting a bandage in his nose. Lily doesn't want Herman going out because he's already been sick with his sinuses. And he's like, oh, you know what? You're right. And then I thought Lily was going to go. And she also, another Frankenstein's monster joke. She has to mention that Herman's sinuses were probably worn out when she got him anyway.
Yeah.
So,
and he has some color in his cheeks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You got color in your cheeks, blah, blah, blah. So then she says, Grandpa, are you going to hang around here sulking all night? And Grandpa is hanging by his feet from the ceiling. And he says, why not? Wherever I hang is home. He's being whatever. And then Marilyn comes in. Hello, Marilyn. You haven't been here all episode. She says, hi, Grandpa.
Oh, yeah, she exists.
Can you go to Mr. Pike's to pick up the check? And I'm like, here it is. And then she's like, be warm and friendly.
Make sure you introduce yourself to the wife. Mr. Pike wanted to make sure that we met her.
Oh, yep. All the stuff that we want. We know what's going to happen.
Did you see what she was carrying? The magazine, Marilyn?
No, what was the magazine?
It just said Tomb and Garden.
Oh, boy.
Which Marilyn's like the normal one. It doesn't really make sense that she would have that.
She doesn't know that she's the normal one, though.
She thinks she's a weirdo and she's trying to fit in, right?
I see.
So Pike, we cut back to Pike. He's putting a golf ball into a glass. And Fanny says, the idea, man your age, acting like that. And anything you say, dear. And then we got that. And she's like, don't dear me, because you're always up to something when you do that. The doorbell rings. And they fight over who's going to answer it. And Fanny goes to answer. She opens it up, and there's Marilyn.
By the way, you missed a great line from Fanny. She goes, after all the years of marriage, you should know where your place is.
Yeah, I was frantically taking notes. I'm like, I hear it, Fanny.
And also, Borden kind of sets her up. He's like, no, I'll get it. She says she'll go. He's like, no, I'll get it. And she's like, no, I'm going to get it. And after she walks away, he does like a little smirk and shakes his hips a bit and gets back to putting because he's like, she'll be scared to death.
It's Herman, right? Yeah. But nope, it's Marilyn. And he's like, I'm Marilyn Munster. I happen to be Mrs. Pike. And then Marilyn goes, I'm here for the money. Your husband knows what it's for. So then we're to assume that Marilyn is a prostitute, I guess. And then Mrs. Pike says, you horrible creature, and slams the door on Marilyn's face. And then Fanny comes back and she's pissed, obviously, because she doesn't trust her husband of 30 years for anything. And BT, well, what did you think of that? Like, he was like proud of himself. And Fanny's like, she grabs a vase and throws it and says, what did you think of that? And she storms off. And he's like, I
mean, Derek, you obviously don't know like the kind of pull that the gas company in the 60s had. I mean, obviously there's just Borden was, having to push women away all the time, probably.
Clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Gas groupies.
So then we cut back and Marilyn has obviously come back and told them what happened, and they're pissed. And Grandpa's like, I'd like to boil that Mr. Pike in oil, but you gave away my cookbook to Goodwill. I mean, you don't need a cookbook to boil a man in oil.
You do if you need to eat him.
Well, that's true. So Herman's pissed, and he's going to go take care of this himself. And he smashes the thing. I don't know what it was, but he like slammed his hand on it and it broke into pieces. It looked like a pillar or a stand or something.
Yeah, some sort of like counter or something.
Yeah. Grandpa's like, don't lose your head. And then guess what? He's a Frankenstein's monster. So he's got to check the bolts to make sure it's still connected. And it is.
Is that what the bolts are for with the Frankenstein's monster? I guess that never occurred to me.
I thought they were like electrodes, like you would hook like a car battery, like the jumper cables to it.
That's what I thought too.
But they could be there to like keep it fastened.
Multi-purpose.
And then Herman's like, I'll go take care of this myself right now. And Lily goes, you go show him who you're made of, because guess what? You're a Frankenstein's monster. So
wait, he is?
So Herman he's angrily dialing the phone. And he's, Pike, this is Herman Munster. You can't treat my niece that way. Oh, yeah? I'm not a violent man, but blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be down there. So I'm going to come over right now and punch you in the nose. And BT is confused. because he does not know what has happened yet. So he calls for Fanny, and she comes down with suitcases.
Oh, she's ready to leave him.
Oh, yeah. She's walking out the door. Very tropey for the time. Who was at the door? It was your little blonde Marilyn Munster. And then he's like, oh, no, her uncle is coming over right now. He's indescribable, which is my favorite moment of the entire episode. You'll have to leave right away. It's like, you got to get out of here. He's a monster. He's going to destroy our home.
He's not indescribable. Call the people at the police department. They know all about the 9 feet green walking around.
Red eyes.
Yeah, red eyes. Perfect.
So BT's like, I'm going to stay here and defend our home because he assumes that Herman Munster is going to smash it to pieces, I assume. So Fanny assumes that this is a trick to get her out of the house so he can fuck Marilyn. Right?
Yeah.
You're trying to get me out of here so you can have sex with her. No way. I'm staying around. The doorbell rings. Well, I mean, there's no time for her to leave anyway because Herman is there. It's only a tombstone's throw. And then so BT goes, it's him. And she goes, it's her. And then Fanny answers the door with a putter in hand. And Herman is there with his fist cocked, ready to punch. Like he's just going to throw hands as soon as that door opens up. Fanny lifts that golf club to hit Marilyn, and it wilts, which is a decent sight gig.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It goes,
it just melts. Yeah.
And then she sees Herman and faints. And then Herman's like, oh, what did I do? Because he's got his hand cocked, ready to punch. So then we cut back to the Munster house. Eddie is laughing. He's got a bandage on his nose. He's at the breakfast table. And which is a big Munster thing, still breakfast. And then they pan over to Herman, who looks pissed, and he's got a bandage on his nose. And Eddie says he looks funny with that thing on his nose. And Herman wants to explain what happened. Quit interrupting me. And then Marilyn interrupts, and she's like, "I'm sorry for what happened." And then Lily looks out and goes, "It's raining outside. It's like." Not just raining, it's like somebody's dumping buckets of water on the window. Lily says, it's a beautiful day, and Grandpa says, thank you. Because he's making it rain, apparently.
That's another power to add to the box.
Yeah, there. We need to
he's breaking out a lot of cool magic in this episode.
Oh boy, this one ends. Whew. So Herman wants to continue with his story. He wants to explain what we all know.
Nobody
which
cares.
Is that he got punched in the nose, right? Like, very obvious. But he wants to continue. Grandpa's like, not while I'm eating.
Squeamish, I guess.
So Lily says, no, let him talk. And then Herman explains what we all already figured out the moment they showed him. Well, we didn't have to see him. We would have assumed that's what happened, right? So Lily is like, oh, poor dear. And Herman... he goes, one thing, I think it cured my sinuses, getting punched in the nose. So then there's a knock at the door, and Herman gets it, and behind the tree out front, there's old BT, and he's waving a white flag, and he screams, truce, and Herman says, truce. And then the whole family's out there, right? They'll come out, and then they notice that, oh dear, it stopped raining, because we have to explain why it's not raining now. when it was raining 5 seconds ago, nothing's wet. Neither is BT, right? Nobody's wet. Nothing's wet. The ground's not wet.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, sunny California day.
Yep. And he's like, oh, dear, it stopped raining. Looks like the weather is turning bad. So this episode has it in spades. All the opposites are good, and Herman's a Frankenstein's monster.
At the breakfast table, she tells Eddie he better start dawdling or you'll be on time for school.
Oh God, that one's just bad.
Yeah, that's a horrible one, and now I feel bad for like.
My interest was so low at that point that I didn't even hear it.
Really,
my wife, BT can apologize. He's explaining that his wife was expecting someone else, and then Marilyn goes, "Oh, I know that happens to me all the time."
Huh?
Yeah. So then BT then explains he lost his head, which is what Herman said, or which is what they said Herman not to do. And then Herman said something. And then BT goes right on the nose, and then Herman's like, "Oh no, don't!" And then Herman starts messing with his nose. His bandage falls off, and clearly it's first take, best take when filming the Munsters.
Yeah.
He laughed about this, and they just let it go. Like they could have easily retaken that shot, but
Yeah, that wasn't that. I was like, that was not supposed to come off, and that's fun that he even giggled about himself.
Film budget was low, so they couldn't recut that. So BT brought a check and a contract. He's like, "Hey, just," and Grandpa's like, "No, do not sign it. Do not sign it." BT says, "The mayor's waiting in his office. He'll have his head." And Herman says, Herman, very polite, very cordial, very gentlemanly. We had made an agreement, and majority rules, Grandpa. You can't always get your way, blah, 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 blah. And Grandpa tells Pike he won't get away with this. I'm like, okay.
I love this.
And then Grandpa turns into a German shepherd, growls, leaps at BT, misses, turns back into Grandpa before hitting the ground, and says, "Dang it, I missed again," which he does this often, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And then he blames his contact lenses.
Yeah.
Dang contact lenses.
He's going to kill that man.
He was going to maul him in dog form.
I love
Yeah,
that.
thank God his contacts were messed up though.
BT, unfazed, he will not be taken in. He said he gives Herman a pen to sign the contract. Herman goes to write with it. There's an electrical shock, some smoke, and then the pen doesn't work. That Grandpa, he's at it again. So Grandpa then, and it's like, a pen won't work. Oh, it's a brand new pen, blah, blah, blah. Because pens, as we all know, can fizz out, I guess. I have no idea.
They can spark and explode.
Yeah. It's like a motor. It's like a gas-powered motor. It just won't work. So Grandpa gives Herman his own pen. I'm like, "Oh, there's something up with this pen."
Why
and
don't
I
you
thought
use
it was
mine?
invisible ink was my first thought, or disappearing ink. He goes, "Thank you, Grandpa. You won't be sorry." And he's like, "You can say that again." Like, this motherfucker's up to something, and they just let it go all the time, right?
Yeah.
So Herman signs the contract, hands it over. BT is excited. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Lily invites him in because she was just going to brew a fresh flagon of tea, which was a weird line.
Yep.
BT says, "No, but thanks, Herman." He says his wife is a changed woman after meeting you.
Mm-hmm.
After your visit, she says she'll believe anything he says. And Herman looks pleased with himself. "Yeah, that's right. It's nice to know we can bring a little happiness to others."
Yeah.
And BT says, "You've made me a very happy man." And then he leaves. The Munsters go in. Grandpa looks smug.
It's a bad sign. Yeah.
Because he knows he's done something. Oh, he's a nice man. And then right then the phone rings. Right that moment. Herman answers. He's uh-huh. "Oh, really? I see. Yes, that's fine. Thank you for calling." Then he has this terrible look on his face. He walks rather deadly over and sits down. And then he says it was Mrs. Cribbins from next door, the woman we met a few episodes ago, who hates the Munsters, right?
Mhm.
Except for when she was in love with Herman briefly from Love Potion.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah.
Hates the Munsters, hates them. Doesn't mind. But she calls the Munsters I guess she's calling the gloat, because
Yeah.
she says, unprompted, like there's nothing to prompt this phone call, to let them know that everyone else on the block got $3,500.
She probably saw BT Pike heading out when he left.
I guess. What I
From
don't
behind her
understand.
fence.
To cover that. Yeah. Have like the community like meeting or something about it. That would have been fun.
If the Munsters were some weird holdout, then they would have been privy to this knowledge prior. We'll give you $3,500 to put this pipeline through, and they were the holdout. They were the delay, and now BT's coming back and offering $1,500. Do you think that'd be whatever? So Lily's took advantage. Grandpa, I knew we couldn't trust that man, but wait, there's a second check for $5,000 and a letter attached. "Dear Munsters, a little bonus for all your trouble and inconvenience. Your friend Borden." Grandpa looks like he fucked up. He's like, "Uh-oh." Lily says, "It's so generous. But wait, there's even more. P.S. After 30 years, I'm finally a happily married man." Since my wife and I met you, we've never looked so good to one another. And the Munsters take the backhanded compliment in stride, as they always do. But Lily says, we just can't take $5,000 for doing good for somebody else. And then Herman's like, well, I'll be taking blood money, which Grandpa says, don't try to cheer me up. Because it's got the word blood in it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel bad enough already. And they're like, what did you do? And it said, my pen was filled with disappearing ink. Womp womp. So then we come back. There was a commercial. Then we come back. And the Munsters are all around a crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
For what reason? We'll find out here in a minute. Grandpa is like, I can't seem to get the right wavelength. He slaps it. And Herman's like, Grandpa, that crystal ball doesn't work anymore. All you ever get are reruns of My Little Margie.
Yeah. My Little Margie was the show that was on from 1952 to 1955. Including in 1955, it was nominated for Best Direction of Photography.
Wow.
At the Emmy Awards.
Yeah. I didn't bother to Google because I knew Keith was going to come through in the clutch on that one.
Yeah, well, I know Herman says it, but I mean, when it comes down to it, like it's tied into Grandpa doing something, and he has a pop culture reference.
Yep.
You know, and in 1964, making a reference to a show from 1955, a lot of people probably knew exactly what they were talking about.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, probably.
So then Grandpa's like, I got it. And they look into the crystal ball and they fade into the crystal ball. And there's like all sorts of like weird noises. And we're in Pike's office. So that way we know that the Munsters know what's going on. So the mayor is screaming at Pike, Pike, you're a disgrace. Guys like you give gas a bad name.
I love that line.
And Pike's like, I saw Mr. Munster sign it with my own eyes. And then he says, I suggest you resign and give up drinking in that order. So Grandpa, through some insane magic, makes the signature reappear.
Oh, boy.
And then Pike and the mayor see it and they freak out. They're like, and then we cut back and Grandpa. So, boy, this episode, like all previous episodes, ends on such a high note. Herman goes, Grandpa, how did you do that? Lily goes, I guess it's just in his blood. Grandpa says, I'll drink to that. Snaps his finger. A smoking stein or flagon comes flying down into Grandpa's hand. Canned laughter. Cue credits.
Hilarious.
What a oh.
They used the blood joke again. They just do it again.
But hey, I guess it's just in his blood. What does that even mean?
I don't know, but Grandpa was really flexing the magic powers throughout this.
Oh, I mean, he had all sorts of magic going on.
He's got the cards that he can move around. He can become a bat. He can become a dog or a wolf type creature. He can't get good contacts though.
No,
he
can't fix his eyesight.
He can mess up a pen. He can also see stuff through the crystal ball. He can make handwriting appear from their house to something that's a headstone's throw away. Well, actually, the office. I don't know where the office is compared to that.
Yeah, no clue.
But he gets the handwriting. Like he actually is doing like a ton of stuff throughout this episode as far as like magic.
Yeah,
and not just potions and stuff.
This episode is a Grandpa magic showcase.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of this episode, like my segue there, Keith.
Yeah, good job.
What are everyone's thoughts about season 1, episode 5, Pike's Pique?
I actually really I enjoyed this episode a lot.
Did you really?
Yeah, like this is probably my favorite episode so far.
Are you kidding me?
No,
okay.
But it doesn't really have anything to do except for Grandpa's like the magic type stuff, but it doesn't necessarily have to do with that. I really liked the Borden Pike character, and his interactions with his wife made me laugh a lot. You know,
we just like a sneak peek into Keith's life.
yeah. Every time I'm on the phone, my wife thinks something's going on. But yeah, I mean, he's just like the whole thing about his mom being a woman. He'll have to deal with that, and then his little, no, I'll get the door. No, I'll get the door. No, and then he just kind of like she's in for it, and then it turns out the end, like the whole thing, like saved their marriage overall.
Yeah,
I really thought this was like the best episode we've watched so far.
Wow,
better than Frankenstein's monster baby.
That's the only part of that episode that's enjoyable, though.
Okay, that's fair.
Also, we get the well, we don't see the this is the first time we haven't seen the clock come out and say it's half past something.
That
or
doesn't
other.
make it necessarily a good episode, but it's
I'll
also
give it
not like
points
it's
for that.
lacking. So
I'll give it points for
but
that.
this time we get the coffin phone shows up for the first time where like, he pulls that
we
little
had the
lever.
coffin phone the last episode because
We
Lily
did?
is on the phone with the Diamond Jim. Yeah.
But she doesn't have to pull the little thing. So I guess I didn't remember like coming out of the wall and stuff, which I thought he was going to like get Grandpa and be like, Grandpa, what did you do? Like that's what I thought he was going to do when he went to get on the phone with that, or like tell him again, like I'm going to go do this right now because the coffin pops out. And I'm like, whoa, okay,
yeah.
This was the best part of the 5 episodes we've watched so far.
All right, what'd you think, Terry?
I'm not quite as strong on it. I was kind of meh for it. Once again, Derek's narration makes me laugh more than the show. But I think there are some points in here that are actually funny. I really like Grandpa being cranky and like actually trying to murder a man. I thought that was really funny. But besides that, I don't know. Just a lot of these jokes are starting to, and this is probably a bad sign, are starting to kind of get old with the, like Frankenstein's monster. Get it? He's got replaceable body parts. Or look, it's raining. We love rain because it's the opposite of what people usually like. It's just, oh boy, they just like kind of play into their tropes a lot in this, and not in necessarily a good way. But I didn't hate it either. I'm kind of like meh on it, I guess.
All right, so I first of all, I'd like to I'd like to make a suggestion that from now on we should just keep a count of the Frankenstein monster references and the opposite talk references and see how many we add up over the series. But I do want to put a bit of an asterisk next to my enjoyment of the episode, because when you just watch it and it's like, oh, this was fun, take a couple notes as I go, but yet listening to you retell it is when it really sticks out of, oh wow, that is like the 5th Frankenstein's monster comment they've made. They're really overdoing it in this episode. So yeah, it scales back a little bit with your description of it, but I enjoyed it in the moment of watching it.
Oh, well, I'll be honest. I did not enjoy. I don't even know if I enjoyed a minute of this episode. It felt like you could condense this down into about 4 or 5 minutes. And it could be a good sketch. This was just not well, and I say good sketch, but I mean a sketch. Boy, this one was really tough for me, and even the Pike stuff, like I get what was funny about it, but I was like, okay, and maybe it's because we're 60 years after it aired, and like all of these things are. Nothing is fresh about any of it, right? But even then, it's just like, oh man, I don't know. This one did not resonate with me in any way. And then it ends so terribly with the crystal ball thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would have punched the old peacock right in the nose for even showing this one to me. Like, no, you got to be kidding me. The crystal ball. Grandpa, way too many new powers. This one was a tough watch.
Now, if you're watching this back when it first came out and you watched this episode, would you watch to the next episode?
I'd have no choice. You know why? Because there's only 3 channels and nothing else is on.
So there's no endless amounts of streaming networks to spurn and not watch this. Yeah, you got to tune in again the next week.
Yeah, have to. There's nothing else to watch.
I think one other thing is at some point in time, maybe we figure out how to do this as like a bonus episode, but we pick an episode where like something happens where we're like, oh, this is going to be the thing, and that never comes back around. Like it was like when Eddie gets shrunk Like we should just do like a side tangent of like, okay, what could this episode have actually happened if Eddie, he got shrunk, if that ended up being like the main storyline, or in this case, like I'd like to know more about the mouse.
I would love
what kind of mouse
more
is
about the mouse
in that giant hole that's sitting there. I mean, it's How do you have anything else that large in the house if Spotty is around? He's got to be eating everything.
You'd think.
Yeah. What does Spot even eat? Yeah. Who knows?
But I will commend the writers for tying in Eddie with the thing on his nose and then Herman with the thing on his nose.
Yeah. That was a fun little.
The one little connective thread.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, okay, good for you.
They kind of sort of followed through on it a little bit.
Yeah. But disappointing episode in my book.
Ugh.
And like I said, IMDb's 7.5, I feel is high.
I think that's right on point.
I feel it's high. This should be
I'd go a little lower.
3 or 4.
All right. So listeners there, I think I'm going to institute a thing here. Over under, how many episodes do we get into before Derek goes, man, that was a great episode?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. I haven't had a great one yet. I did enjoy the little robot. I thought that was funny, but I hated the episode in general. I hated it less than this. This episode's my least favorite of them all.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of thought the pilot was my least favorite. Yeah. Okay. So not great, but like one where you're willing to give it like a 7,
a B,
a 7 out of 10, or better. Like how many episodes in before Derek gets a 7 out of 10?
How long until Derek says B minus?
Yeah,
because we're not there yet. I will say the robot joke was an A+ joke episode.
That was great.
Good, though.
That was great.
Yeah.
My guess is once we get to 15, I think Derek will have liked at least one episode.
15.
You think he'll hit stride by 15? Enough for him?
We'll see.
At least one episode. That's all I'm going to willing to bet. Well, at least one episode. Derek thought it was okay.
I'll take the over on that. That's my guess. But we'll see what happens. Until then, Keith, what do you got on a promo here?
I just really kind of realized that I think I know why I enjoyed this episode this much is because I'm currently hosting a show called That Was Great, Wasn't It? And I'm watching 13 episodes of Pro Stars, which might make it why the Munsters is so much more entertaining this week.
Munsters is Citizen Kane compared to Pro Stars.
Yeah, 100%. And, we started about a week before the Munster Hunters show started airing, so there's only a couple episodes out there, but go ahead and check it out. Terry's I think an upcoming guest. Derek, you'll be an upcoming guest, I'm sure, and I'm sure it's first you've heard of that, but either way, it's called That Was Great, Wasn't It?
That was great. ... Wasn't it? Yeah. See, boy, Keith, to go Pro Stars, boy, does he even think Pro Stars was great at any moment?
It's a conundrum that gets talked about multiple times. I think every single episode.
I suggest you resign and quit drinking in that order. Terry, what you got?
Well, I don't know. I've got a podcast, Run the Reel. You can check it out if you want. We talk about movies. So yeah, that's pretty fun. You can find us pretty much wherever, just anywhere. And yeah, I'm going to be on That Was Great, Wasn't It? So check that out as well.
Nice. I got nothing.
I think Pro Stars might be better.
You like Pro Stars more than Munsters?
I've only seen one episode, but I had a good time, I gotta say.
Wow. Hey, that's cool. Good for you.
Yeah. Thanks.
And I seriously have nothing.
Has anybody tracked you down?
No one's tracked me down. No one has said anything yet. But also in full disclosure, the first episode hasn't aired yet. So
I don't know if some like mysterious old grandpa type figure came and had like foreseen
Oh, with a crystal ball? Or what if somebody just, like some guy just mumbles that all the time? Ingenuity, imagination, intelligence do not work. Ingenuity, imagination, intelligence do not work. It's like this weird tick that he has, and he can't not say that line, and he just happened to mumble it to me.
I don't know. I love that line, but I'm questioning because ProStars exists, and obviously ingenuity, imagination. Well, no, never mind. Still holds up.
None of those things work, good man.
Yeah.
None of those things work.
Hey, Derek, real quick though, before we fully wrap up the episode, we got what's going to break the babysitter. We have to have some new ideas.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
All right. So do we have more attainable babysitter breakage moments?
She finally she doesn't actually ever see spots.
Okay.
But she does find droppings
because it's okay.
No, she finds like a big pile of spot poop.
Oh, good one.
And it's very, very big. Like maybe like up to her waist or something like that.
Okay. Wow. Terry?
I think maybe I think maybe what would break her is if she actually she's walking up the stairs and that latch opens up and she falls into it and happens to fall into Spot's mouth. And she gets trapped there for a couple of days and then finally escapes.
I'm going to blend the two. I'm going to say she finds dung waist deep. Doesn't bother her at all. But she looks over. She's like, well, I've seen some shit in my days on the babysitter.
Literally.
But she looks over and there's like a skull in it. And she pulls it out and she's like, Howard? And that's what breaks her. She knows. So somebody actually came up the stairs, fell in, got eaten by Spot, got digested by Spot, got shit out by Spot. Then the babysitter finds it and it was her husband.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yep. That's what breaks her.
I'd buy that.
Yeah.
That's a great episode idea too.
Yeah, I'd watch that all day. Better than this one. And until next time. Are we going to do it all in unison? We tried that in episode 1 and 2. Do we all know what we're saying? It's always hunting season.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? And remember,
it's always hunting season.
Nailed it.
The Munster Hunters are Derek Glascock, Keith Gawla, and Terry Vickroy. Keith is the host of the Pop-Up Filmcast, and that was great, wasn't it? Both shows can be found wherever you subscribe to podcasts. For more about Keith's shows, you can follow Pop-Up Filmcast on Twitter at Pop-Up Filmcast. And that was great, wasn't it? At How Great Was That? You can also follow Keith on Twitter at KG3030. Terry is one of the hosts of Run the Reel. It's a movie podcast that does deep dives on films with a theme. You can follow Run the Reel on Twitter at Run the Reel. You can also follow Terry on Twitter at Terry_Vickroy. If you would like more musings from me, you can follow on Twitter at Derek9 and the word 9. Follow Munster Hunters on Twitter at Munster Hunters and subscribe on your podcatcher of choice for more Munster Hunter fun. Munster Hunters is mixed and edited by me, Derek. All original music is composed and mixed by Terry Vickroy, and executive producers are me and Keith Gawla. The Munster Hunters is a Krispy Dodo production.